All right, hello, and welcome to this very first playthrough of Starfield. Here we are, the end of the game. We're about to start the final mission, which is called One Giant Leap. Now, we do have another main mission that seems to be required that we haven't done yet, but the final mission's available, so if we don't have to do it, then it's not really a main mission, right? It's this Mist Beyond Measure where we're supposed to go to a funeral or something. Doesn't sound like a good time. So we're going to try to just move on without it. And you know what? I've had an okay time with this game, but not enough of a good time that I'm going to bother going around and talking to all of my shipmates and crewmates and friends and yada yada before I go ahead and blast this fucker off. So let's just do this. We're supposed to build the armillary on the ship. Let's just do it. And see if that takes us to the end game. Yeah, do whatever you like, sir. Nope. You've completed the armillary. Once you power up your grav drive, you'll jump to the Unity. Remove the armillary from your ship if you need to grav jump to anywhere else. Power up the grav drive. I think this is it. I think this is going to be it. So this could end up being a very short mission, which is okay. Totally fine. Okay. It's like the end of Outer Wilds. All the galaxies. Yep, that's me.
You made it. I hope you're enjoying the view. I never get tired of staring at it. Eternity.
I don't sound anything like that. You're me.
A thought occurs. Can anyone ever truly experience reality outside oneself? All of time and space filters through a singular perspective. I am as much you as you are part of everything. All points connect to here. When a star is born or dies, its existence beats through the heart of this place, the Unity. I have seen all you are, have been, and could be. Do you feel like you've lived a good life? Is there anything you regret?
Nah, not really. I've done all I can and made peace with what I couldn't.
That's good. You'll need that clarity for what comes next. In order to become Starborn, you must give the universe one last thing. Yourself. That intangible part of you, that something that makes you unique amongst the infinite, will explode like a supernova. A part of you will fuse with the essence of this universe, while another part leaves it behind forever. Do you understand what I mean? This one final leap will change this universe forever, even as you leave it behind.
Starborn said I would be reborn. This sounds like death.
Much like the death of a star creating new kinds of matter, so will part of your being become fused with the unity itself. That part is what becomes Starborn and crosses into the multiverse. Through your eyes, it will be as if waking up from a dream. Walk into the gate of light, and you will become Starborn. Everything will vanish, and you will awaken somewhere else. But that isn't your only potential destiny. You could turn around, walk away from the unity until the stars fade away, and you will wake up on your ship, in your universe. You could live out the life you have. I've enjoyed speaking to you once again. All of you, every version that is here in the unity right now. Go out into the star.
I'm gonna walk into it. You didn't come all this way for nothing.
As you consider stepping towards infinity, I offer you a glimpse into what will happen to the universe you may be leaving, as the essence of who you are is spread throughout space and time.
Is the hunter just killing people? You know what? I don't even care.
Although you leave this universe behind, a new universe awaits you. Who will you be in this world? What choices will you make?
Complete one giant leap. It's that simple. Is that it? Is that the end? No, I bet not. Maybe it is. I'd be okay with that. It is. That is the end. Okay, we did it. Absolute quiet for the credits? Okay, I'm not complaining. All right, first things first. The bottom center of the screen says that we've beaten 109 games this year. And 431 since we started doing this in 2020. Those numbers are now false. We've now beaten 110 games in 2023 and 432 since we started doing this in 2020. Cool. All right. Well, yeah, I definitely have some thoughts. Oh, there's some music. Let's start with the good. I think that they did a good job of building, fleshing out a universe that has a lot of Fallout, Skyrim type things you can get up to in it. The potential is certainly there to lose 150 hours into this game if I was that kind of gamer. So it doesn't surprise me to hear that a lot of people have played this game for hundreds of hours. I thought that the combat was better than Fallout. wasn't perfect. Still wasn't as good as some other first-person shooters, but I thought that the combat was an improvement. And I thought the story was pretty cool. The story was interesting. It went some interesting places. So I enjoyed that. I thought it was balanced well, difficulty-wise. It was appropriately difficult later in the game without spiking too hard. It was a nice little gradual ramp. A lot of games mess that up. So there were definitely some good things. I have more negative to say. This game really just didn't grab me. I'm a big fan of Fallout 4. That's my favorite Bethesda game. That's a game that I have spent a lot of time playing. Well, more time than this playing. And that I really enjoyed living in that world. And this seems like it has most of the, if not all of the same components. But I just didn't get drawn into this world. And I think that the reason is the UI. So let's start there. The UI, it's I don't know how they would have fixed this problem, but there is an inherent baked-in issue with this game. In that, when you're playing Fallout, even when you're playing the way that I do, where I'm just rushing from one objective to the next and really not doing any side stuff and just doing what I have to do, I still felt like I was living in that world because I was having to physically walk to my locations. And then inevitably when I was walking, I would see something that looked interesting that maybe I wanted to get involved in, or a combat would ensue and I would get involved with that, or maybe I'd see some loot that I wanted, or maybe I'd see a door that I could pick a lock for. When you're, even if you're just doing main objective stuff like I do, you still have to walk through the world to do all that stuff. And so you're inevitably getting drawn into the game, and you feel like you're living in that world. This game doesn't do that. I don't know how they would do it. The fact that you can just straight up fast travel. I mean, I felt like half of the game I was playing, I was just doing the UI for the star map. That's half of what this game is, if you're just doing main story stuff. And there's no opportunity to get into any shenanigans when you're just fucking with the UI. So I never was compelled to get involved and get my hands dirty and feel like I lived in that world or any of that stuff, because I'm just choosing a star to go to so I can go to my next objective. The only opportunity for me to really do that is when I land on the planet. But the planets really aren't that big. They're just like little areas on the planets. It's not like you can walk all over the planet, which I understand why they didn't build it that way. And I understand why they build it, though. I don't know how they would have fixed that problem. If you're going from star to star, it's a lot different travel-wise than just walking to your next objective that's like, 10 miles down the road. So I don't know how they would have fixed that. But the bottom line is, the way that I play these games, if I'm not going out of my way to proactively get involved in side missions, it just ain't gonna happen, because I'm never compelled to do it, because I don't have to really traverse through this world in order to get through it. So because of that, I just didn't ever get as interested in this. I didn't care as much about the characters. I didn't care as much about the planets I could go to, or what flora and fauna were out there. I didn't care as much about what loot might be in whatever corner of this map, whatever. It just didn't occur to me as much, because I just didn't have my feet on the ground. So it just never really got its hooks in me. And and now some of that's my fault, because that's how I play games. I blow through them, and this is a very easy game to blow through because of the way that the UI is. But even if I weren't like that, even if I were one of those people that's like, you know what, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to start and I'm going to do every side quest that I come across, and I'm going to stop at every planet, which is what a lot of people did, I imagine, looking forward to this game. I would have gotten burned out with that in 2 hours, because I don't know. I'm not sure why. because I mean, I guess I don't know that for sure, right? Because I would have to try that in order to find out. But there's enough. I would have been overwhelmed. Is the answer? That's maybe a me problem. But like, I get overwhelmed with games that have 5% of what you can explore in this game. So I definitely would have gone. Oh, and so what I would have done is I would have done 10 or 12 side quests. And this is how I played games before I did this 2020. Before I started doing this in 2020, I would have done 10 or 12 side quests, and then I would have played the game for 40 hours just doing side quests, and then I would have eventually just gotten tired of it and never done the main story at all. And I bet a lot of people did that. It's not that it doesn't have what Fallout has. It's not that it doesn't have... The combat's better, I think. And it's not that it doesn't have all those nooks and crannies that are interesting. I imagine it does. I was just never compelled to look in that direction. So, I never really got acquainted that well with any of the characters. I never felt strongly about any of my companions. I never really found that perfect weapon that I loved. I kind of did, and then it got taken away from me. Actually, let's move on to that now. The technical issues. This game has some horrible performance issues. First of all, the frame rate is all over the fucking place, and it is annoying as hell. It's bad enough that it's capped at 30 FPS, and I know why. It's because of Series S owners like myself. But shit, that's a bed that you made, Xbox. So no excuses. You either need to figure out how to get it to work. There are plenty of games that work at 60 FPS at Series S. You either need to figure out how to get that to happen, or maybe you just don't have a console like this. Like, I don't know. It's the fact. I know that I've read that the performance issues are a lot of it has to do with the Series S, and so. But still, man, that's if you're going to sign off on your product. It needs to work on whatever you're going to put it on. Maybe you just don't put it on the Series S if it's not going to work. So the frame rate was horrible. I got used to it, but I mean, it was capped at 30 FPS is bad enough. I never thought I'd be a snob with that kind of thing, but I have kind of become one. 60 FPS is very nice, and I consider it the standard now. So 30 FPS, having to go back to that for a game like this is rough. But then it's pulling 10, maybe 15 at certain points, not 30. It's lucky if it's nice if it's at a solid 30. It very often was not, especially with high movement, quick movement, that kind of thing. So that was rough. The game crashed on me 4 times, completely crashed to the point that I had to restart. And most of those I lost significant progress. There was one point I lost 30 minutes of progress. Another point I think I lost 40 minutes of progress. Part of that's on me because I wasn't quick saving, but it was also early in the game before I realized that the game was going to be crashing regularly. So the crashes were bad. They were bad. They were really bad. And there were a number of bugs that were highly annoying. One was whenever you check on the radio menu or your quick menu for your items, the numbers for your ammo would just be wrong. They would just be way off. They'd either be 0. Sometimes they were at 0, even if you had hundreds of whatever ammo, and then sometimes they would be at like half of what you had. They would just be random numbers. It's like, oh, you've only got 40 bullets left for this gun. Oh, actually, once you actually select it and it shows in the bottom right hand corner, you can see that you have 600. That was annoying. But the worst thing was there was this mission that I did that I found this gun that it was the only gun in the whole game I fell in love with. And it was awesome. And I finished the mission with it. And I was like, this is my gun. And then I started the next mission. There was a situation where I got arrested. And then all my inventory was taken away from me. And then it was all added back. And when the inventory was all added back, that gun was just gone. I have to assume, it was just gone. It was like I never owned it. I have to assume that it was a bug, because there were a lot of bugs like that. So I have to assume it was a bug. If it was on purpose, they never explained why they would take it away from that one gun from me. I can't imagine that's what it was. But man, that really was a soul killer. That was like, okay, finally I have a reason to be excited about this game. And then they take that gun away from me. If I had wanted to spend a lot of time going back and looking and see if it was there, I could have taken that risk, and I'm not going to do that. I've got more main missions to do. So I got by without it. It was fine, but like, it's just another reason. It's like, please give me a reason to like this game. Please. It was especially rough at the beginning because I felt weak, and it was probably designed to be that way, and that's fine. But some of the early missions were kind of a slog. But whatever. So performance issues, tech issues, bugs, they were rough. Game never really got its hooks in me. This is a little bit of a nitpick, but because this isn't really how Bethesda games usually work, but there weren't really any clear bosses the entire game. That's a little bit of a minor spoiler, but there was never in Fallout, there's not really a lot of boss fights. You don't really do that, but occasionally you have to shoot somebody up that's got a name. That barely happened in this game, and so I don't know. It just felt like I was just shooting at whoever came across my screen without really any indication as to who the big bad is. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say any more because these are supposed to be spoiler-free videos, but I could have done with a couple of even in the original, in the original Mass Effect, you've got a couple of boss fights right at the end that are pretty nice. Could have been something like that. There wasn't. So actually, you know what? I take that back. There was one situation that it could have late in the game. I talked my way out of it. So that's okay. That's fine. That's a decision that I made, and it, so I take that back. But I did suffer from, there weren't any really big encounters like that. There weren't any real big set pieces that were really impressive to me. I guess that's another thing that this game is missing. There weren't any big set pieces that were really cool where some big event happens, It just wasn't really. There were a couple of little ones, but there weren't really any those epic moments. I remember when I played New Vegas, when you're at the end of the game and you're fighting with the army and you're charging at the other group, whatever I was against, and there's this big battle toward the end, or in Fallout 3 when you're in the giant, or you're fighting next to the giant mech thing. And there just wasn't anything like that in this. Even some of the later fights that were important fights, they're just in a cave, or they're just in a lab, So, it just didn't feel very inspired. My friend Matt was showing me the differences between some of the places, social places or different kinds of places between this and something like Cyberpunk. That world really seems lived in, This just didn't. It just didn't. The worlds were not alluring. It was all quantity, And there's some other little things the facial animations and the character animations they just look lazy. I think that's just Bethesda just does that. But if you look at the character animations or facial animations of some of the other games that have come out this year, like Baldur's Gate or the new Cyberpunk stuff, or I don't know, fill in the blank. There's a bunch of games that came out this year. They just put it to shame. Everyone has that bewildered look on their face every time you talk to anybody. So I didn't hate this game. I didn't hate it, but it just didn't really give me any good reasons to love it. So it's not going to rank well. It's probably going to rank lower than any other Bethesda game. Certainly. But I did enjoy moments of it, particularly the combat at certain points was kind of fun. I just don't really have a really good reason to like recommend this game to anybody. If you want to play something like this that you can really sink your teeth into, play Fallout 4 or play. I've heard The Outer Worlds is good. Something like that. All right. Well, that's okay. That's all right. We beat it and we did it and everything's fine and it was an okay game and I didn't have to pay for it because it was on Game Pass, so it was worth every penny. All right, last order of business before we end things here. Starfield, it's been fun. Thank you for allowing us to enjoy you. But we are now going to delete you from our console and never play you again. Bye. Bye. Okay, that's it for Starfield. Just real quick before we end, just a little bit of housekeeping, scheduling for the next few days. The next game doesn't come out until, I believe, the next new game, December 7th, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. So we've got, I've decided that what I want to do is I'm going to still continue to alternate between retro and new games, but all the new games, I'm going to try and make 2023 games because I want to beat as many 2023 games during 2023 as I can. So the next game is going to be Prey, which I know basically zero about, but I've been wanting to play that game for a while. It's from 2006. It's the precursor. It's from not the Arcane one. It's the original Prey. That should just take me a couple of days. And then we're going to play Dredge. I bought that for PlayStation. That's a 2023 game I've been wanting to play. It's an indie darling this year. It's had some indie game of the year talk. Dredge is going to probably take a couple of days. And then we're going to play maybe Fable 2. Maybe Sonic CD. Some other retro game. And then we're going to play, I think, Hi-Fi Rush. That's another 2023 game I haven't gotten to yet. And then we'll play some other retro game. Oh, Gears of War Judgment. I want to play at some point, so I'll play that in the next couple weeks. And then I also want to play Rollerdrome. That came out this year, right? Didn't that come out this year? No, that came out last year. Okay, so forget about Rollerdrome. But the other ones on my list are Bramble the Mountain King. I'd like to play that at some point. Dredge, Hi-Fi Rush. I'm gonna wait on Hogwarts Legacy. Probably at least another year. Maybe Mortal Kombat 1. Maybe. I'm interested in Wanted Dead. I might play that one. I'm just gonna play as many new games that came out this year as I can. Maybe Hellboy Web of Weird. Maybe Scars of Above, maybe. I don't know, we'll see. But those are the ones at the top of my list for like games that came out this year that I haven't played yet. Not going to play Tears of the Kingdom, not going to play Mario Wonder because I'm playing those franchises in order. So but next will be Prey, and we'll probably get started on that later today. All right, cool. That is it. If you're still here and you watch this whole video, or even if you watched to the very end of it, thank you. I appreciate you being here. It means a lot to me. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next one. Goodbye for now.